Okay, everybody, this is take two on my video for PSA graded slabs that I have. This is a video I've been wanting to do a long time. Wanted to talk about, specifically how each card is graded. Just the basics. I don't want to, overcomplicate it for you to kind of see what, if you're looking to send some cards into grade, but you're worried that they're not going to be good enough. The grade's not going to be good enough, and you're not going to get high enough grade, and you're just going to be overall happy with the whole situation. So, I just wanted to, do this video. And this is a long time coming for me because I have a few slabs here and they're all different grades. And so we can kind of do a comparison. Keep in mind, this is all opinionated. I do think that you should be grading your cards if you're looking to, be a long-term collector. This grade, and I'll spoil the grade for you. It's a PSA 7. I'm not going to tell you what card it is yet, but you can see at the bottom here, you can see how there's some damage. And you see here, if you get close, that whitening is pretty intense, I would say. But remember, when you're doing out of 10 system, 1 to 10, you have to let some of this, some of this slide, and you're not going to have a low 4 or anything on this, but you see there's some whitening here. And so, overall, this card is a nice card. You have some, a little bit of whitening on top, but the most intense whitening is at the bottom here. So that obviously this isn't a 10. So, you can say they're a little. We can look at the grade in a second, but you can see you're considered a little generous, probably. But I do think that the grade is correct. This is the OG base set Charizard. You're thinking, oh, that got a 7. So if you have any cards that look kind of like this, keep in mind there's also, and here's the light flashing on it. You can see there's some scratches on the hollow as well. So, the best you can get is an 8 with the scratches on the hollow. You can see up here. Looks pretty clean at the top, but of course you'll have the edge wear at the bottom. So, it's a pretty nice card. So you have that edge wear on the bottom, or I should say the edges and and then maybe some corner, a little bit of corner. Yeah, right there. You see that? You see the light kind of shows the indentation there. So a 7. You could say it's generous, maybe not. I think it's a good 7. I don't think it's a 6 because 6s are usually, when you look at excellent or good, a good I think is 5. If I'm not mistaken. They've got to get pretty nitpicky because, like I said, they do grade 1s. So, it's definitely a lot better than a 1, way better than a 1. So, and I think it's better than a 5. I've seen some 5s have like a little bit of creases, like a bunch of, heavy scratches on them. So I think that's a good 7. And so if you look here, you're going to see this is, and you can guess the grade, probably what I'm doing here. But if you look on the bottom right here, and I have the light flashing on it because you see that the damage on the edge right there. So again, a lot less whitening than the other card here. So on top, you see there's a little more, there's some whitening there on the edges, some whitening here. So obviously, and that's some pretty intense whitening too. Not intense, but it's definitely something that you're gonna. If someone's grading this card, they're gonna say this isn't like this isn't a perfect card. So then you turn it around, boom, PSA 8. So 1 above. So the hollow, you can't tell because this is an older slab, so there's some scratches on the slab. But, you see a little bit of the edge. But the hollow itself is pretty neat, pretty good. So when you get an 8 like this and you have the edge, the white, a little bit of the corner edge, you're probably not going to see any hollow scratches because, if you had the hollow scratches, you'd be on the same page as that Charizard with the 7. So this is getting an 8. So still not perfect, but still really nice. And see on the front, you can see a little bit of the corner issues. So we talked about the edges, we talked about the corners, and we talked about the surface, which is the hollow, and then of course, the centering, the centering has been pretty good on both of these cards. But we're talking about the holographic, the surface. So all 4 of those things are what kind of creates these grades. The graders look at that. So overall, both of these cards have been pretty clean, pretty well centered. You've had the issues with the the whitening on the edges, and on the corners, more specifically for the Arcanine. The Charizard had the whiting on the edges, had the scratches on the hollow, and the corners. So you can say, some people might say, well, it's a generous 7, more like a 6, but I think it's a good 7. Probably right on the edge. Beckett might give it a 6.5 because you have all those imperfections. So that's an 8. So you got to go up from 7 to an 8. So we're going to go up to a 9 now. This is Japanese card. Very old school Japanese card. Old school slab. You can see up here, you notice that the other one was, these are all old slabs still, but this is even, I think this one might be even older. But the centering is really good. See, now you see, that might be the slab itself. So we want to see where that imperfection is on this card. So a little bit of a nick down there. You see that little nick on the bottom left hand side, and the light flashing on it. In this angle, you can kind of see it the best. You can see it like right there. I think that's the best angle, but just a slight little nick on that corner right here. You're gonna see. And I think that might be the only imperfection, but remember, we're trying to, distinguish a gem mint from a mint. So this is a mint 9, Happy Birthday Pikachu from 1998, second anniversary of Pokemon. Obviously 96 is when it started. So this is a 23-year-old card. So 23, yeah, okay, my math is good. So got a swirl. It's a badass card, no lie. So the front is going to look pretty clean, like you're saying, oh, wow. If someone, that nick was a little bit intense, so I think, it's very visible, from the right angle. So, I think that's a good grade for this, is a 9. Maybe someone might let it slip through as a 10 if I regraded it. Not going to take the chance. It's like I said, it's a badass card right here. A nice mint 9. People were wondering if they should grade their cards if they have like a PSA, 7. If it's a Jigglypuff, a Wigglytuff, or like a Scyther or something from like the Neo set, not Neo, but like the Jungle set, I wouldn't recommend. If you think it's going to get a 7, those are going to be a dime a dozen. If you have a Wigglytuff like first edition, and you think it gets a 10, that's probably a good card to grade. Anything you grade. If you get a 10, it's a special card because it's hard to get a 10 no matter what it is. So if you get anything a 10, it's going to appreciate in value because people want PSA 10 grades. So, we're not talking about Beckett today because I don't have any Beckett graded cards. I never probably will. PSA is cheaper, so I'm a cheapskate. Whatever. What do you want to say? So this is, spoiler alert, this is going to be a 10, a perfect 10. Now, perfect is subjective. Remember, all grades are always subjective to what you perceive. See, but look at the top right corner. There's a little bit of whitening. You can see it. If it's visible to your eye, that doesn't mean, oh, it's a 9. Remember, I think the other card, the Pikachu, had a little bit more of this. The edges was a little bit more pushed out, it was a little bit more noticeable, and it's so minuscule. Like I said, the same person that graded that Pikachu grades this could give this a 9, or vice versa. It's just so close, so close. So and then look down there too. See, so very bottom right hand side, you can kind of see a little bit. It's not anything to write home about. If this went to Beckett, you're probably looking at a 9.5, gem mint, or a 10, like gold, like the black label means it's a perfect, 100% perfect card. Nothing wrong with it at all, and any, no visible, imperfections at all. In this case, you can kind of see a little something in the corner. So I'm gonna turn it over. This is not my card. This is my wife's card. So when she sees the video, she's like, why does he have my cards? Because I don't have any Gem Mint 10 graded cards. So the hollow, obviously there's going to be no scratches in the hollow if it's a 10. if there's a scratch, I'm gonna burn this slab if it's. But no noticeable anything on the front of the card. It's gonna be perfect. I don't see anything. I'm just looking through it. The light's kind of guiding me through. No, fingerprints on it. I think it's a good 10. Like I said, when you have a PSA 10, not going to be 100% perfect, but you're going to get close. Going to get close. Sometimes if it's a perfect card where we're like looking at it and say, I can't find anything wrong with it, you may want to, send this slab over to Beckett. Say, hey, let's get this black label pristine. Is it pristine? I'm not sure. I think it's pristine. Mint card, like perfect black label, nothing better than the card. If you do that, the value is even higher. But I prefer PSA 10. I prefer any card. It's all subjective. So if I can get a 10, that means that the card is pretty close to perfect, and it makes me happy. This is a nice card, and it's not mine, and I'm sure it never will be. So this is my wife's card. So good on her. So, but it's really awesome. So let me know what you think about this. Like I said, if you want to send in cards, I'm sure it's easy. There's a lot of YouTube videos on how to send out cards, but it's kind of a corners, edges, surface, centering, which all of it looks really good on this card. So I mean, you can kind of see the difference between a 10 and a 7. 7's near mint. This is gem mint, so you can kind of see the difference. If you're looking at your cards at home and you're like, I want to send some stuff in, that's part of the slab right there, I think. That little. But again, PSA 10s aren't always perfect. That's if you send it to Beckett and get a 10, that's perfect. But this is pretty darn close. So, like I said, if you want to send in some cards or you want my opinions, let me know. Thanks.